looking sin though.
Yeah, but I think the herd's a lot stronger with the sin though.
It is because it's not good with moist. It's not doing a real good job with a lot of anything right now. So
you're gonna have higher sin on the herd.
Mm-hmm. Why is that so close to us?
It's gotta be the way your picture is. You have a double box? Because it's not using your full camera, your full picture.
There we go.
That's better.
All right, we're trying to let everybody kind of get joined in here, and we're going to discuss the increasing threat for severe weather here this evening. So whenever we get a few people, it looks like some people are joining now. I'm going to give a few minutes for folks to get on in here so we can kind of dive into the detail. Of course, you know that we're going to get a lot of what time will it hit? Will it hit my house? And those are questions we can't answer because we're dealing with an isolated supercell type thunderstorm situation here this evening. So Cameron, what that means is isolated. Not everybody's going to get one, but if you do get one, it could be pretty intense. It really just depends on how everything develops. Our weather models kind of hinted at this yesterday. They really started coming into better agreement last night. We popped the first alert weather day for today.
10 o'clock news.
Yeah, and then guess what? I'm about to head out, guys, and do that. Yep, I know you are, Jacob. So, but anyway, we are going to be monitoring here for again an isolated supercell thunderstorm here this evening. And if you walk outside, you can tell it's breezy, it's warm, it's humid out there. So you can tell that we're probably going to deal with some thunderstorms here. Yep. And unfortunately, we have the wind shear and the winds have really increased here. And we have a lot of moisture on the increase. Actually, moisture levels are really popping now pretty good. And it looks like there's going to be at least a few storms for a few locations here this evening. And Cameron, the threat to me looks really high for some big hail. Yeah. Big hail. Yeah. We're talking about 3 inches in diameter. That's larger than golf ball size. That's up to a tennis ball, baseball size hail there. So
it's not hail you want to drive through.
Yeah. But again, that's not a situation where everybody gets that. Just a few places see that here. But if you do get underneath it, again, you can see some really big hail. And also, unfortunately, with the increasing moisture here and the increasing what we call wind shear, is causing the atmosphere to spin some here. So if we can get thunderstorms to continue into the early evening, and they can mature a bit, they will have a chance to produce a tornado or two here. So, and there's the first one. Anything for Vernon, Texas. Again, Jack. So we cannot tell you if your place is going to get hit or not, because this is not a situation where we're looking at a solid line. Everybody's going to see something. This is a isolated supercell. You may or may not get
you might get like 2 or 3 thunderstorms in the air in our area.
Yeah, you might see a few drops of rain. You might not even get that. So I mean, it's a lot of variables here. It's an isolated threat here. But it would go for basically anybody, basically in the area, most of the area. Anyway, I'm about to pull up some graphics. So just give me a second here. Most everybody in the area anyway would have a chance for that. So, and the timing, it looks like after 5 o'clock maybe. Matter of fact, it looks like the Storm Prediction Center is about to issue a tornado watch for the area here pretty soon. So, let's see if we got our. Let's see if we got this thing in here yet. Here, it doesn't look like it's going here, Cam. It should be. So just disconnecting and reconnecting here.
That's the issue I had.
Well, that's what OBS does sometimes. So, well, anyway, we're trying to get graphics up here. So,
can you screen share through?
I can, but I want to have a better. I don't want to just show, all of that. I want to be able to show other stuff too. So, it's going to take me a minute to pull up graphics. I had everything set up, but it looked like it. It's not even showing. Oh, here's why. There's why right there. So let's see if that works here.
So you don't got a graphic up.
That's why I wasn't showing anything. So give me just a second, folks. We'll be ready here in just a minute. Yeah, there it is. Let's see if this will stream to restream here. All right. So can you give Eshaw a shout out, please? Shout out to Eshaw. I may have to do a different key here.
You're streaming somewhere, but I don't know where.
All right, so let's do a different key here. Just give me a second, folks. I know it's a little frustrating. You want to see the weather information, but just give me a second and bear with me here. I've got to change a few things up here. I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, that's the way technology is here. So give me just a second. All right, so that should do it there. So we should be able to have something here pretty soon, I would think, Cam.
Yep.
All right. Well, when that does pop up, we'll need to, this is the microphone, we'll have to change microphone sources. If it does pop up at all, even it doesn't like, yeah, there it is. Here it comes. All right. All right. So I'm going to do is here. I'm going to, all right. There we go. I'm just going to mute that. So here we go. All right. So this is what we're looking at here this evening, folks. This is, I have made a couple little adjustments to this graphic. There's my severe weather graphic there. Okay. We've got a dry line that's currently developing across the western parts of the area here. And it's kind of over into this area here is where the dry line currently is. Out ahead of it, we got some more moist air feeding in from out of the Gulf. Our humidity, our dew point temperatures are steadily increasing here some. And you've got some drier air off to the west here. The dry line may even be a little bit further west than what I have shown on here. But while there's not a whole lot going on at this present time, there's nothing on the radar here. But I do expect thunderstorms to develop along this dry line. And again, not a lot of thunderstorms. It will only be a couple, one or two, maybe three. But anywhere in this area could see it. I'm talking about anywhere in this red area from about Vernon, Seymour eastward. Now, if a thunderstorm can persist into the evening hours, and it looks like there will be at least a few over into this area, conditions are going to become more favorable for tornadoes over here around and after sunset. So any supercell that can continue early on this evening would have a chance to produce a tornado. But if it can survive over into this area here, that might be a bit of an increase in tornado threat. And the reason why is you've got strong winds in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. They're going to be increasing here this evening. And at the same time, you got strong winds aloft out of the west here. And you got a lot of moisture feeding into this area. So that's where we could see perhaps maybe a bit of an increasing threat of a tornado or two here this evening. And again, anybody could see that, but it just looks like maybe from about Wichita Falls, Lawton eastward over towards Duncan, Waurika, Henrietta, maybe Bowie, Nacona, and then over towards Ardmore, north of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I don't think the Dallas-Fort Worth area is in on this one here. So, and then up towards Oklahoma City, maybe Chickasha, those areas, Purcell, those areas up there, Norman. So we'll keep an eye on that, and north of Oklahoma City too. So those are the spots we're watching for that. All right, so let's talk about what's going on right now. So if you take a look, you can really see on this satellite imagery where the dry line is located at. So again, that dry line represents the line that separates dry air from the west, from the increasing moisture to the east. And you can see the cumulus clouds developing along it now. Now, what happens is when a thunderstorm tries to develop, it's called convection, it tries to develop, you'll start getting little froth, almost like frothing with the clouds will start taking place. And as a storm, at least initially, it doesn't have a lot of push to it. There's a bit of a cap over it. There's warm air above it, and it's keeping it from developing. But as a thunderstorm develops, you'll see them come out of these cumulus clouds. It's this frothy cumulus cloud area. That's where they'll develop, is kind of out of that. Matter of fact, it looks like something may be trying to develop down here. You're starting to see a little bit more of a growth down there, south of Seymour, kind of down towards Throckmorton. If we take a look at the radar right now, though, there's no rain showing up on it at all here. We can put this into motion. A lot of times you can see boundaries on here, and it's kind of hard to see anything on the radar right now, but there's nothing showing up here. I don't see any signs of convection anywhere yet, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. So if you take a look at moisture, we got to have moisture in place for severe storms. And we do have the dew point temperatures have increased. We're about 61, 62 now, dew point in Wichita Falls. And that's sufficient to get thunderstorms with, severe thunderstorms with. But as we get into the evening and you get the winds increasing, you're going to start seeing those darker greens show up. And with those darker greens, you're getting an increase in moisture into the evening. You can almost see where these winds kind of converge there. There's your dry line, probably just west of Wichita Falls at this point in time. And look at the evening, how that moisture just really increases. I mean, it's going to get real soupy out there later on tonight. And so if we can get thunderstorms to persist, you're going to see, especially over here, where you see these darker green colors, that's where there really could be some issues. You about to head out, Cam? Cameron's about to head out in the tracker or so. So that's moisture. We got that. Now, if we look at spin here, also as the low-level wind shear increases, you're going to see increasing levels of spin in the atmosphere. You can see those darker green and blue colors there, especially along and east of the interstate there. And as you get into the evening hours, a lot of that really widespread where you see the darker blues at. So we're going to take moisture. We're going to take the spin in the atmosphere. We're going to take the what we call instability. That means that warm, moist air and the Earth's surface being overlaid by some cooler or colder, drier air aloft. And we're going to throw that spin into the mix. We're going to see what's called tornado conditions or significant tornado parameter. And look how this ramps up this evening. That would show an environment that would become favorable for storms, supercell thunderstorms that can interact with it to produce tornadoes here. And that continues, and it really ramps up, especially into the evening hours here. And now late tonight, you can really see it kind of become widespread, but I don't know that we'll see storms during that time frame, Cameron. There's a front coming in. There could be some storms, maybe kind of linear stuff, but uncertain as to whether or not we're going to see storms there. Now, here is the latest HRRR computer model. Now, Cameron, this model has not done very well today at all. Matter of fact, it just started showing storms on this particular. This is what radar might look like, by the way. It just started showing storms developing on this about an hour or two ago. Our other high resolution models, we look at them on other sites, not just our in-house stuff here. Have been showing it kind of off and on throughout the day. Our graph computer model showed it last night, and the HRRR has finally caught up to it. And you can see there around 6:30 here. This is between about 6 and 6:30. I think that this is probably a hair too far to the east. I think the dry line is going to be more like over into this area, mostly here. Yeah. So I think the storms might form a little bit further to the east, but you can see them up here towards Interstate 40, up there near El Reno, Oklahoma, and just west of Oklahoma City. It shows some isolated stuff down into North Texas here as well. And then you get there into the evening, and then this we'll have to watch. Look at that big supercell up north of Oklahoma City, but you're also seeing supercell storms over Wichita Falls, down towards Archer City and north of Graham here. So if Cameron, if this scenario were to happen, then we might have to, we'll be a little more concerned about big hail here in the falls, and you would have to be concerned about a tornado or two as well developing with that if that scenario does indeed play out. But you got to remember, this is a computer model. You can't take it verbatim. It's just, that there's a possibility that somewhere in the area there could be some storms. Right. This also weakens everything pretty quickly, but it does take it across Clay County and over to Stevens and Jefferson County too.
And with these storms, they'll, once they do come together, they won't take long for them to, hit severe limits.
They'll become severe fast and produce hail. And then you can see later tonight, it just really kind of develops storms kind of east of us along that front. And that's kind of been a trend for some of the models. So we'll see if that happens. I still think there might be a thunderstorm or two along the front late tonight, but as of right now, a lot of the weather information late tonight takes a lot of that stuff east of us here. Now, this is just throwing this out there. Again, tomorrow night, there's a front stalling across the area, and along the north of that front, there's going to be some big thunderstorms with heavy rain and hail. And again, I don't think these will be tornadic late tomorrow night, early Thursday morning, but we'll have to see what happens to the position of that front, because there again, they could be. So, stormy period here as we get into early April now. That's when our severe weather season really kicks off, and that's kind of what we're looking at here. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on that. So we'll try to take time now to answer some questions here if we can. So I'm going to turn this off here, Cameron, the graphics here. And Cameron, by the way, what is your plan? Where are you about to go?
What we're going to do, we're going to be in our newscast, the 5 and 6. So we're going to go out towards probably near Vernon-ish or so, just kind of hang out near the dry line for a little bit, and then just kind of watch satellite radar. And then as storms come together, which I think they'll be a little bit further east, popping off to the east a little bit more as that dry line pushes across, then we'll start moving east of the dry line. And basically, as soon as something pops, we should be right with it. So
okay, so you're heading out. You're kind of head towards Vernon, huh?
Yeah, I'm headed towards Vernon area. Go close to the dry line, and then kind of hang out there until something starts to come together, and then we'll start to move with that storm itself, whatever storms come together.
So should we cancel Little League Baseball in Iowa Park? I would. I mean, and again, Cody, I'm not saying you're going to get a thunderstorm, because you may not. It's isolated. Remember, not everybody gets one, but if you do get one, it could be pretty bad. So I'd go ahead, just play it safe and cancel in Iowa Park. I wonder about that cell north of OKC. That might be elevated. I don't know, Jacob. It just depends on how things come together here this evening. When that low-level jet ramps up, it's going to pull that moisture northward. And I think really anywhere, this evening could see, some pretty significant storms. So, yeah, Jacob's going to be near El Reno. That's a good play, because you can go either direction there from there, actually. But I wouldn't, if you're in Oklahoma City and you're a storm chaser, you're going to miss out on North Texas. There's no way you can make it. Yeah, that's right. 2 hours. So, I mean, you have to play the northern and the southern target. So if I'm playing, I'd be on the southern target. Is where I would be. That's just my opinion. So you just got better moisture and better instability down here. So the latest, what is that? The
That's that NATO cast.
NATO cast thing has pretty significant tornado areas down here over us tonight here. So that thing, it can be decent. It's not bad.
Doesn't pull from it doesn't pull from the miles I'd like it to pull from is the issue with it.
Where's it pull from?
Pulls from the HREF and the SREF.
So Shane says a lot of hype online again. That's just the world we live in now, Shane. I mean, every event that comes out these days is a tornado outbreak, end all be all type thing. Every one that we have. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's going to be hail, if it's going to be just a storm that's going to fart a little wind, something like that. Everything's a tornado outbreak now. It's because, again, it's how they make their money on YouTube and those types of things. So that's just what, the world we live in now. My advice again is have a trusted source that you like to go to and follow them, because somebody like, myself will not overhype weather. I mean, I'll tell you when it's going to be bad. And I'm telling you, we could be pretty bad this evening here, but I'm not going to overhype things. So I'm not saying there's a tornado outbreak. I'm just saying, a storm or two could produce that. So Nancy, Seymour's right there on the edge of it. You could see some storms here early on this evening. So, so Nocona, you're kind of in that area. So if I'm in Nocona, I'd be keeping an eye on things later on this evening here. So Candace cap has not broke yet, but it looks like it's going to at least. So there's enough of a cap in place. All right, the cap can do a couple of things. So the cap is where we have warm air above the Earth's surface, and in order for a thunderstorm to form or a partial of air to rise, it has to be warmer than its surrounding environment. Well, as it rises from the Earth's surface upwards, it hits a layer of warm air where it's no longer warmer than its surrounding environment, so it can't rise anymore. But eventually, either it can get warm enough outside for that parcel of air to overcome that, or something can push it up over it. The dry line sometimes can push it up over that cap, and a storm can form here. As long as the cap's not overly strong, and it doesn't look overly strong, at least right now, you'll get a couple of storms. But if it's too weak, you'll get too many storms. So in this instance, this cap is strong enough for everything to remain discrete and for it to be fairly isolated and not become widespread. Unfortunately, when you have fewer thunderstorms, it gives them more of an opportunity to chew up the atmosphere and take full advantage of the atmosphere. So this evening, there could be some pretty rough storms around. You thinking Duncan has a higher risk than Wichita Falls? I wouldn't say that, Ty. I'd say about even, maybe slightly higher, but about even. I think Abilene, you're kind of going to be just barely on the outside of this one, Valerie, but close enough to where there could be at least an isolated thunderstorm down your way this evening, but it doesn't look like much. I think better chance for storms over your way tomorrow night. And Electra again is in that too. So Wise County, it's a close call in Wise County. There could be something isolated, but I think that most of the activity will be west and east of you, west and north of you. Traveling to Graham from Brownwood, I'll be back in Graham around 9. What's the chances we're running to hail? Very low, very low. But I mean, not at 0, but very low. Brittany, a chance, yeah, slight chance for something isolated over that way early this evening here. So, and Burt Burnett's the same way. I mean, it could, Jake. I mean, again, this is an isolated event. People are asking me about your community, and I mean, I cannot tell you if you're going to be impacted by this. So, all right, be safe out there, guys. I can't tell you if you're going to be impacted by this because it's so isolated. You may or may not get it. I mean, there's no way to tell. It's just the chances are low any one place gets it this evening. But if you do, then you're going to get some pretty good. Probably get some pretty significant weather here. Of course, we'll know as the storms develop. We'll know. We'll have a better idea. So. Yeah, there's a pretty good cap, actually a pretty significant cap in place over towards Dallas. I think your better chance for storms will come tomorrow morning as that front slides over your way there. Yes, we can show model runs one more time. So we're going to pull up this here, and I'm going to show it. So this is the thunderstorm area here that I have drawn with the dry line east of there, and that dark shaded area is my area where you have the best chances for a more significant supercell storm or two. But again, anywhere in that red area you can see it. There really isn't any one location that's any more favorable than another. I'm looking at current dew points, and we're still running low to mid 60s in most spots here. But I do believe as the evening progresses and low level winds increase, the moisture does go up some. Let's look on the satellite. It continues to show those cumulus clouds frothing up there along and east of that dry line here. And we'll just have to wait and see. Some of these cumulus clouds are trying to get a little more honestly are trying to get a little bit more, maybe a little more what we call agitated down towards Throckmorton and Seymour. So there, we'll watch that area and see if anything is going down that way. The radar does not show anything yet, but you can almost see the boundary on radar there. I believe that is your dry line, kind of roughly into this area here, or it could be back into here. It's hard to tell, but somewhere in there, you got two areas we're watching right in that area there. So somebody wanted to see the models here again. This is your dew point temperatures and wind, and you can see those low-level winds increasing and cranking up here this evening. And look at where the winds converge. That would be that's where your thunderstorms will probably more likely develop there. And we see this dark green, especially Wichita Falls eastward. That's where your moisture content is at its highest. And again, in that area, you do see increasing spin this evening here. So any thunderstorms that can interact with it will have a better chance to rotate and spin. And we take the spin, we take the instability moisture, and all combine it into one computer model here. And it shows a ramp up in tornado conditions there, especially along and east of Wichita Falls here this evening. And then later on this evening, that really ramps up. And late tonight, it would too. And what causes this to increase overnight is you get what's called a nocturnal low-level jet. It's it's the winds around 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. They usually increase at night, and they do create a stronger wind environment. You're going to have a lot of moisture and instability out there, but typically speaking, in the middle of the night like this, you lose your daytime heating, so you get what's called convective inhibition, or the cap gets a bit stronger. But sometimes when you have an influx of moisture like this, you can continue to get storms going. But I don't know. Most models don't have storms into the area late tonight. This is the latest HRRR, and earlier today it didn't have anything, but now it's beginning to show storms, and there you are between 7 and 8 o'clock. And storms could develop as early as 6, but there's your better time frame there between about 7 and 8 with a couple supercell storms. And again, those will have the potential to produce big hail and maybe a tornado or two. We'll have to just kind of wait and see if those storms can indeed mature enough, can get strong enough for it to take full advantage of the atmosphere here. And, you can see those things. You move across northern Clay County and over into parts of Stevens and Jefferson County. But you can't take that model verbatim. Again, you have to just know that somewhere in that area there could be some stuff. So that's what we'll be watching out for tonight here. So I hope that you got a chance to look at that, and it's a good question. Why has there been so many tornadoes overnight lately? It's not uncommon to see that to the east, but in our area, it is, really and truly, we don't get many of those, but it's just been the timing of the storm systems and the way things have come together. We've had some nighttime tornadoes lately, really. And it's, it's kind of odd to see that, to be honest about it. So, all right, well, I'm going to jump off here. I got to get ready here for the newscast here. And we got to, kind of get a little game plan together. So, I'm going to let you go, and of course, be looking for the updates on social media platforms here this evening. Here, if we need to do some stuff on News Channel 6, we will. We have the stuff on the app as well, and be looking First Alert 6 weather app, News Channel 6 app for the 24/7 stuff on our web as well. That's ways to get your information there. All right, well, keep an eye on things. Again, let me look and see if we got any tornado watches issued here yet. I know the Storm Prediction Center was talking about issuing one a minute ago. See if they got anything out here just yet. So nothing yet. So we'll wait and see. All right. No watch yet, but there is probably one going to come pretty soon. So I'll update my page as soon as that happens. So, all right, everybody, have a great night here, and we'll see. And again, time frame would be early to mid-evening here if we get it. If you get it at all, remember, this is an isolated threat. Not everybody's going to get it. Isolated threat. But big hail and a tornado or two can't be